Hi everybody, I'm Paul Tran. Welcome to Learning Unplugged, place to come for acoustic music and acoustic learning. What we do on Learning Unplugged is we think about ways that help us think and do things differently. So let's put the saz away for a moment. Now this week I've had one or two difficult conversations to have, and I've been thinking about ways of dealing with these difficult conversations, and I kept coming back to Douglas Stone from the Harvard Negotiation Project, who came up with his idea of what he calls difficult conversations, conversations that we want to have, maybe even need to have, and just find a little bit challenging in terms of getting our facts straight and in terms of getting our emotions straight too. And Stone came up with 3 really good foundation steps to start one of these difficult conversations, and that's what we're going to take a look at today. So let's just get stuck into the first step. And the first step is to consider what happened. This is where we tell our story, and we consider it with also thinking about the other person's perceptions, the other person's values, so that we can perhaps weave them all together and make our story make more sense for them. And it's also really important to get their side of the story too. Often in these conversations there's a lot of certainty about my story and your story. It's nice to replace that certainty with a bit of curiosity. Find out a little bit more about our story, and also really get to grips with finding out about their story too. So that's the first step. Let's find out what's happened and explore it. The second step is to consider feelings. Quite important to share feelings as quickly as possible, otherwise they might come out at the wrong time and have a damaging effect on the conversation. So this is where we sort out our own feelings and we're honest about what they really are, and then we express them as fully and appropriately as we can. We also make sure that we give the other person in the conversation some space to acknowledge and articulate their feelings and let them express them fully too. And that way we get a nice emotional base for the rest of the conversation. So it's really important to share feelings in one of these conversations too. And the third step is all about identity. Often when we are in an emotional conversation, it's quite easy for us to think of ourselves as this kind of person, that kind of person. When in reality, our identity is a lot more complex than that. It can shift depending on the different areas of the conversation. So it's really important to consider all of those and how we can manage them within the confines of a conversation. It's really helpful to do this with the other person too. Help them work through any identity issues they have and allow them to be themselves. So there's the 3 steps, everybody. If we're going to have a difficult conversation, the foundations are, let's be clear on what happened from our side of the story and from their side of the story. Let's get our feelings out on the table and share them, and also encourage the other person to share their feelings too, so we know where we are emotionally. And the third step is to consider our identity and make sure that everybody in the conversation is comfortable with themselves, so they're able to express what they want, what they need, and how they feel very, very clearly. There's the 3 steps, everybody. Let me know how you get on with them in the comments below. It's really important to have these difficult conversations. It's much better for our health. It's much better for our mental health. It's actually really good for relationship building. If you want to know more about my work in general and Learning Unplugged, you can take a look at the website ptps.co.uk, or you could take a look at the YouTube channel, which is Paul Tran Trainer. I really hope you get to grips with those difficult conversations and think about those 3 steps as a good foundation to start them. And I'll see you soon on the next Learning Unplugged.